Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning. What a game last night.
He's back. Hey, yeah, you see that? You see what old nephew did last night? You saw what he did last night, right?
I don't even know who that is.
You do know. You wish you had him in Dallas, don't you? If you had him in Dallas.
Did he sign that for you?
Yeah, what does it say?
Did he? Wait, did he know who you were? He did?
How about this? He FaceTimed me last night after the game.
He did?
Yes, he did.
Well, did you FaceTime him or he FaceTime you?
We FaceTimed each other.
Well, who initiated?
I hit him with a voice video, what do they call it, video message, where you hit the message thing and I videoed him, and then he hit me back FaceTime.
Really?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be objective on this show? We're about to talk about this game?
Well,
and you're FaceTiming the people involved? I never do that. You're disqualified.
No,
we know what you're going to do now.
You come out here with a Brady jersey, you got Dak jersey, you got Zeke jersey, you got the man picture by your
I have never FaceTimed with any of those superstars.
My bad.
Those are superstars you just mentioned as opposed to this guy. But whatever.
What did he say, Shannon? How excited was he?
He was very excited because
I hope so.
Skip, you don't walk up. You don't get walk up. You get set up the game-winning field goal, but that's a walk up. The game is over.
Whew.
He was special.
That feels good.
Yeah, I mean, he's no CeeDee Lamb. But whatever.
Okay,
Yeah. We'll get to those Cowboys. But we have to talk about the exciting finish last night. Patrick Mahomes rallied Kansas City in the fourth quarter and then threw the game-winning touchdown to, I guess, Shannon's best friend, Travis Kelce, in overtime, outdueling Justin Herbert and leading the Chiefs to a 34-28 road victory over the Chargers. And Mahomes finished with a season-high 410 passing yards as KC won their seventh straight game to move into the AFC's number one seed. So, Shannon, please give Mahomes a letter grade.
Skip, given what was at stake, considering they had already lost to the Chargers, Chargers win this game at home. This is a division rival game. If they win this game, they would have swept Kansas City. They would be in a commanding position. They would really be in the catbird seat for the AFC West division title. Mahomes hasn't been... Because he set the bar so high, he hasn't been playing at that level. And Justin Herbert, there were conversations being had. Is Justin Herbert as good as Mahomes? Would you take Herbert over Mahomes? And I think Mahomes last night, like, look, this young man is good. Because, Skip, we're going to see this for the next 10 years. This is what you're going to see. You got to appreciate this because you might not ever see it again. Two guys that can match each other throw for throw in the same division in their prime. And that's what you got an opportunity to see last night. The difference between the two guys, Skip, Herbert has receivers that can make tough contested catches. They don't have the speed like a Hardman, like a Tyreek, like Pringle, like those guys. But every tough catch, Williams, going up over people, Keenan Allen, Dunlap, those guys can make tough contested catches.
They can.
Last night, what Mahomes were able to do, Skip, they ran the ball 20 times. And you're like, 20 times? That's nothing. But they ran them enough to keep them honest. And they kept, if you notice, Skip, the first half, everything was short. Everything was short. And they were doing a great job in tackling. And after a while, you see Kelce all of a sudden, that 5-yard route turned into 12. Tyreek's 8-yard route turned into 20. And it started getting further and further down the field. And so for me, I gave him an A. I gave him an A for two reasons, Skip. Fourth quarter and overtime. He wasn't playing well. I thought he was playing well up until, he pumped the ball. Bosa hit him from behind. It comes out. And then after that great stop that the Chiefs defense have, Mahomes comes right back out on the field, Skip, and trying to get it over. And what these quarterbacks will have to understand, these guys are a lot more athletic. We just saw, Skip, the defensive end from Dallas do the same thing to Taylor Heineke. Tip the ball up. You try to get a screen over his head. Last night, Mahomes was trying to get a swing pass to Randy Gregory.
Yep.
And they tipped it. These guys are a lot more athletic than you think.
Yep.
And so when you try to touch pass it, they're just going to get a hand up, tip it, and get it to themselves. But, Skip, when he needed to be great, and he needed to be great the last 9 minutes of this ball game, the last 3 real drives that the Chiefs had, he goes 5 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, 2-point conversion. He goes 8 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. He goes 5 plays, 75 yards. He was sensational. He made the throws that he needed to make last night. Tyreek and Travis Kelce, who we talked about, touched on earlier, Skip, they were sensational with run after the catch. And basically, Mahomes said, look, it's us three. we're going to win or lose this ball game, because it got to the point he's looking for Kelsey or he's looking for Tyreek. And I was beginning to wonder, because Tyreek started the overtime skip on the bench. And then all of a sudden you see him hobble out there on the field, get a first down, and then Kelsey turned the lights out of the building. I gave him an A because this is him. 410 yards on the road of the division rival, a team that had already beat you earlier this year, and you absolutely had to have it. The last 9:30 of the ball game, and Skip says this is the money. Fourth quarter and overtime. He had 3 touchdowns, 197 yards, but he also had a 32-yard run to set up that 7-yard touchdown that he threw to Travis Kelce. I gave him an A. And here's a slump season for Patrick Mahomes. With 3 games to go, Skip, he has 4,052 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. And that's an off year for him.
You done? A?
Yes.
Wow. Well, let me preface everything I'm about to say in that I'm disqualified. I didn't FaceTime with Patrick Mahomes. I didn't FaceTime with Kelsey or Tyreek or Clark Hunt or Hank Stram. God rest his soul. I didn't FaceTime up in heaven with the great.
So you trying to say I'm biased or something?
I'm saying you're really biased. You've completely lost all objectivity, because I got to get me a new TV, because my old black and white, I don't know, it just starts to fade out and get fuzzy, foggy late at night. I don't know what I was watching. I'm going to give Patrick Mahomes, who once upon a time, not that long ago, was the MVP of this league, and he was the Super Bowl MVP, so I'm going to grade him by a little higher curve. I will give him a C+ for last night, and I'll give him the plus because he did close. I will give you close. The problem was, I wasn't blown away by either of these young gun quarterbacks last night. I'm sorry, I just wasn't, because both of them were off as much as they were on. And Patrick Mahomes, as usual, as he's been much of the year, was often off. And it shakes me, it jars my eyes, because he has lost some confidence, he's lost some swagger, he's definitely lost some accuracy and some faith in the system that used to make him a superstar, as in no look behind the back, left-handed, between the legs kind of passes. And he doesn't quite have the faith in those throws that he used to, because the league has figured him out. I think he got a huge break last night, because Derwin James went out pretty early because he was iffy on a hamstring anyway. And so that is their best defensive player. I know Bosa is a great pass rusher, but the guy who makes them go, the guy who ignites them, is that sort of monster back in the middle of the field who's everywhere, breaking up every other play. So that was a huge break. So can we see a couple of plays from Mahomes that would disqualify him from being an A last night, giving an A grade? And by the way, his QBR was 74. If he had a 90-plus QBR, you could argue A, but when you're at the 74 range, there's no A.
Not when you get a walk-off.
Okay. So if we could see what he called the one that he dirted, if we could see, it was actually 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line of the L.A. Chargers. This was 1:50 left in the third quarter. And Mahomes has Mecole Hardman on a sweet little play where he went in motion, then back in motion, and just outran the DB all the way to the goal line. And as Mahomes said after the game, I freaking dirted it.
Yeah.
And I don't see him during the MVP year. I didn't see it throw like that. I don't know.
He did the shotgun. He knows he has him open. He doesn't really have a good grip on the ball. You see him he's trying to get a grip.
He missed the laces, but it happens a lot on plays like that. And most of the great ones just go ahead and figure it out anyway and throw enough of a spiral that it at least gets within catch radius, and it's 6 points. So you just left 7 points. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe 8 points. You left them on the table right there, right? Then you mentioned the interception. They're backed up 3rd and 3 at their 9-yard line, and Nwosu gets this one. If we could see, this is 9:39 left in the fourth quarter. This was a huge play in the game, and it's just careless. It's just lackadaisical. It's a little too cool for school, and you just didn't get the ball up. And during his MVP year, I didn't see plays like that. But that was a huge play in the game because you gave them a one-play touchdown that put them ahead 21-13. So don't give me A. I'm sorry. If you want to go A- maybe something, but you can't give him an A for those 2 plays.
Well, considering that you gave Tom Brady an A last week because he walked
about Tom Brady's about.
But I'm just
Patrick Mahomes last night.
Okay, you gave your guy what you gave him. I gave my guy what I gave him.
I don't remember giving him.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Because you said he walked it off. And that's little bit Brett Perriman. Brett Perriman, he's been on 5 teams, and Tom Brady found it.
Rashad
Perriman, yeah. You did that, right? That was you. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But let's just stay here because, again, we're not going to go A, because here's the bottom line to this game that did not happen in the Brady game. Obviously, the Los Angeles Chargers lost that game a lot more than Patrick Mahomes won the game. Without all the Charger blunders on fourth downs, you're not even in the ball game.
Do you hold that against the Chargers? Do you hold that against the Chiefs or the Chargers?
You could get blown out. Well, you hadn't played well enough to go match for match. You hadn't been able to match points because they just kept driving it down your throat, but they kept getting it in positions where they didn't cash. And by the way, I preface this on Brandon Staley, the head coach, young head coach. I have no problem with going for it. His position after the game was, we knew who the other guy was over there, and he's not that guy this year, but he has been that guy.
So why are you basing it on what he was in the past as opposed to what he is in the present?
Well, even if it's Taylor Heineke over there, I don't mind going for fourth down on these fourth and shorts. But you got to cash them. If you've got plays and you got the player that you trust, where you say, I got this. I'm going to literally throw it down your throat or run it down your throat. I don't have any problem because it sets the tone for your squad. It shows them, it sends a message. We ain't afraid of no Chiefs. We own this division now. It's ours. Watch, this is our house, and we're going to take over this game and literally force it right down your throat by going for it and converting all these fourth downs.
So what happens if going for it, converting it shows that you're not afraid of them? What happens when you go for it and you don't make it? What does that show?
Okay. Well, obviously, if you don't, you're going to lose.
Okay.
And they did.
Okay.
So that's what happened. So if we could see what started happening. And this was the most unfortunate play of the night, but it's the Parham play, the Donald Parham play that starts off the game. And this is 4th and 5 from the 5. And God bless him. I hope he's going to be okay. It was pretty scary. But even though Herbert throws rockets down here, and they're hard to hang on to because there's a lot of mustard on that throw. He takes nothing off throws from 5 yards out, and it's hard to hang on to on the back line of the goal because it's coming like fury. It's going to go right through your hands. And I'm not sure what happened to Donald Parham, but he hit his head on the turf.
Yeah, it was the CeeDee Lamb place. Yeah.
And, except he was going forward.
Right.
It wasn't a whiplash.
It was like he hit to the side.
Like CeeDee's going straight backwards and does the old car wreck whiplash, and bangs it on the back of his head. But he hit kind of on the side of his head, and all of a sudden his arms are locking up.
Well, he's totally unconscious then. That's when
frightening, and he looked like his eyes had rolled back into his head. So God bless him. He went to the UCLA Medical Center, and they said he was in stable condition. Okay. I hope that's a good sign.
Right.
But my point is, you just left 7 points on the table.
Right.
If he hangs on, which he did for a second until he hit his head, I thought he was just going to hang on to it. And it's all of a sudden the ball just kind of squirted out and rolled across the turf. DB celebrating like made a great play. Well, he just couldn't hang on to the ball and hit his head on the turf. And I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite like that.
I've never seen a play. Obviously, we just saw CD, but he didn't go unconscious like this kid. But I had never seen a guy almost have a touchdown, concuss himself, and drops it. I had never seen that.
Oh, okay. So now we go to the Justin Herbert interception, and it comes with 5:22 in the first quarter. And again, it's an unfortunate play for Justin Herbert. It gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. That happens, but your guy hung on, and all of a sudden you got a short field field goal that you cash in on. So there's 3 points that they just gave you right there, right?
Right.
Okay. Then we go to your favorite player, or your favorite whipping boy, or your favorite target on this show. Number 4, good old number 49.
Sorensen.
Yeah, Sorensen. And it's 4th and goal from the 1 at the end of the first half. And Sorensen he's on sort of a cautious blitz, dare I say, where he's just kind of coming, but also just kind of sizing up what's happening.
Right.
And he's kind of almost spying, and he just bats the ball down. Well, that's 7 more points got left right on the table, right? That's the one you could have just taken the field goal, right?
Okay, I will concede. Okay, if you want to go for the first one, Skip, 4th and 5, okay, fine. But in that situation right there, just go ahead and take the 3 points, and you're straight.
Okay.
You're good.
And obviously, at the end of the night, mathematically, if you had +3, you would have been in real good shape.
Yes, because now you force Patrick Mahomes to go get a touchdown, get the onside kick, and go back down and get the ball in field goal range.
All right. It was 4th and goal from the 1 yard line. and Brandon Staley's saying, I know we can get 1 yard. Well, your quarterback has to make the right play. And if you see Sorensen, you can't risk it because he is cagey. He is wily.
Right.
He is a veteran who knows how to make that kind of play. And it was kind of a stealth job on him.
He knew you say he cautiously
did.
because he didn't want to run the risk of you trying to pump fake me, get him up in the air and get around the edge.
No, he did not. So was that not a huge, that you could argue that was the turning point of the whole night, right?
Just take the 3.
Okay, take the 3. So now we go into the third quarter, and they face a 4th and 2 at your Kansas City's 28-yard line. And so you've got a field goal sitting there if you really want to do it. If you really want to do it, but he says, no, I got a quarterback who is equal to that quarterback in my humble estimation, says Brandon Staley. And he lets him throw it, and he tries to jam it into my man Jared Cook, who's haunted my Cowboys for years, and Nick Bolton, who can play now. He's coming on because that defense is really coming on.
Yeah, he's played well.
Yeah, so he just comes in, and that's just a football play, man.
Yes.
That's just, he broke it up. He sniffed it, he jumped it, and he got an arm in and broke it up.
Yeah.
Well, that's just too good. Like, hats off.
Yeah.
You know, I tip my cap to you.
He read the yogi. It's a stick for the offense. They call it a yogi to the defense.
Well,
he read it, Skip. He settles his feet like that. You know he's breaking out. I'm driving.
All right. So there's, I wrote that up as 3 points cost, right?
Okay. So that's 6 points.
All right. Okay. Well, I got a whole long line of these. Let's do one more. So now we got Joshua Kelly on this play down near the goal line. And what is it? It's 3rd and goal from the 1 yard line. This is 11:02 in the fourth quarter. And he tries to go up and over. He's kind of their banger back, and he loses the football. I'm telling you, those kind of plays, you lose the football game.
Right.
Because this is a gimme some points. I mean, it's like a gimme 3.
Are we sure? Because he hadn't gone for it thus far, Skip, in the goal-to-go situation. So he hadn't gone for it. He hadn't kicked the field goal yet.
Okay,
yeah, he hadn't kicked the field goal yet. So are we sure he's going to take a field goal here?
All I'm sure of is that it was -7 points, right? Okay, so I'm going to add up all these blunders. I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to the Parham play, that's -7. I'm going to go to the tipped interception, that's -3. Then we're going to go to the Sorensen batted ball, it's -7.
You going to give him 7?
I don't know.
Just give him the 3, Skip. You give him the 3. Say you take the field goal.
All right, Bolton is 3, and the fumble, to me, the fumble's 7. Whatever you want to do. Okay, by your math, it was 21 total points. But whatever, it's 20 plus points.
Thank you.
You are literally leaving right in the middle of the table in a game that went to overtime.
Right.
Boy, that's a lot of points. A lot of opportunities.
But if you look at Kansas City, look at what they did to Green Bay at home. They only scored, a handful of points? 19? Cowboys, 19. It's not like you said. And if this was 18-19, I would concede. Skip, you can't kick field goals and beat them. But teams have been kicking field goals this year and beating the Chiefs because the offense hasn't been up to par. Skip, okay, why are you throwing it? You running up and down the field. You know Chris Jones? Skip, they had almost 200 yards rushing. You at one point, so only one time do you want to try your running back.
Yep.
Eckler, they ran the ball one time with Eckler. Eckler runs the ball right into the end zone.
How was the game built? What was the hype master saying?
I get all that, but Herbert against Mahomes.
It's future versus future, right?
I get it. I get
the two youngest, greatest guns, right?
Yes.
This is the future of the National Football League. So Staley is thinking, I got a quarterback who equals that quarterback, and I'm going to take over this division. So when push comes to shove, I'm going to put the game and the season in the hands of Justin Herbert. Yes. And that happened. Or didn't happen.
But Skip, we've seen a lot of this, and it worked. If you remember the first game they played, Skip, all the times they went for it on 4th down, and they catching touchdowns, and they're picking up first downs, and sometimes you can get seduced by that. But the law of averages says now, if you get X many, you're only going to get so many in a season. The law of averages has to catch up with you sometimes, Skip. You can't be 15 for 15 on 4th down conversions. No. The likelihood of that happening is not very realistic. So what happens in a game of this magnitude where it's so close? You kick a field goal. That if you take one field goal, Skip, you probably win this game. Because now instead of 7, with Mahomes needing 7 to tie you, he needs 10.
Okay.
And somehow he got to get a touchdown and an onside kick in order to do that.
Okay, if you cash all your gambles, I've got it at plus 24 points. Yeah. you win in a route.
Well, yeah, but Skip, you can't look at it plus 20. If every drive that you got down inside the 20, you scored a touchdown, but you can't do it like that.
Okay,
Skip.
but the analytics will show you it's about 50% on fourth down. It's a little under 50, but it's close enough to 50 that you should go for it more than not go for it.
But Skip, if that's the case, why do I need a coach? If I'm only going to listen to the analytics and not the feel of the game and not my gut.
Well, you definitely need the feel of the game.
Well, clearly he didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think he did. I think he's just saying, I got the goods over here. We're going to take this over. We're going to send you home with your tails between your legs.
I've seen Coach Belichick with Tom Brady so many times take the field goal. I've seen him do that. We just watched him do it last week on a 4th and a half a foot in a windy condition. He said, "Oh, you should be able to pick a half a yard up."
Well,
Coach
we just watched him take the ball completely out of his young quarterback's hands and say, I'm going to let you throw 3 passes tonight.
And what did analytics say? Analytics was saying they should go for it on 4th down. Analytics said they should do this. Coach Belichick says, not in what my experience has taught me.
Yep.
And what my feel is at this game at this moment says, take the points.
Okay. By the way, Kansas City's defense very quietly over this 7-game winning streak is second in the NFL in points allowed. Second in points allowed. Over the last, I'm just talking about 7 games. I'm not even sure who was first, but I know they're second.
But if you think about it, Skip, who else has a 7-game win streak? Isn't it the Patriots?
Yep. Probably is. It would probably be the Patriots. Okay, so very quietly, that unit has risen. Okay?
The thing that I can say about them, Skip, they were getting run on. The guys were making big catches.
Yeah.
But when Mahomes scored that touchdown to tie the game, there was 1.5 minutes left. They had to both their backs because a field goal beats you.
I agree.
So I've got to keep you, and I said the mark of any great offense, defense, whatever the case may be. Can you get done what you need to get done when you have to?
Okay.
Because Patrick Mahomes, we say, we believe Patrick in this offense is really good. Well, how good are you if you can't go down and get a game-time field goal? If the defense, if you building better, if Skip said, hey, y'all the second in points allowed, we'll keep him out of field goal range.
Okay.
And they did that.
Now I'm going to close my case for why Patrick Mahomes deserved a C+. He threw for 410 yards. Guess how many? You can pull up your jersey if you want to because it's going to be about
No. We don't worry about yards after catch.
Guess how many were yards after catch out of 410? I guessed 200, checked it out, 218. 218 yards after catch. A lot of them were because of 87.
Yeah.
Because he was just spinning and winning, man. He just catches it, spins, and escapes. And once he escapes, he can run. As he said, I look like I was 22. Well, he did.
Right.
And even the last breakaway touchdown, the walk-off, it's a lot of yak. You know, he's just yakking all the way up the field.
But you know why it's like that, Skip? Because you're going to play this shell coverage, which is too deep. They're going to keep everything in front of it. So the thing is, that's the Chargers' fault.
Okay.
If you play that coverage, Skip, you're keeping everything in. You got to get the guy on the ground.
Right. I got it. Okay, last quick point. The reason I'll give him a plus, not just a C, the play of the night from Patrick Mahomes, to me, was with legs, not arm. And you mentioned it, but it's the 32-yard escape by Patrick Mahomes.
You see how he was running?
You know what? He is misleadingly fast.
Look at Jack. He put his hand down. He took his hand. That's the drive phase. Okay. He was in that drive phase, Skip. That's what that is, a drive phase. So watch him drop his head. He about to dig on that Usain.
I like him a lot more scrambling and rolling. He is a scrambler and a rollout artist. When he's on the roll, on the run, sideways, either way, he's much more lethal.
But you can't, but Skip, you know that.
So the idea is you can't let him out. You just can't let him out. I don't care what you do.
You can't
and he's not Lamar, but he can hurt you as much as Lamar does. Yeah. He looks like he weighs 240 to me, somewhere up in there.
Yes.
And once he gets in motion, man, it cooks. Right. He can go.
And the thing is, Skip, you playing a coverage with everybody because you can't worry about him. You got to worry because they got so much speed. Everybody has their back to Mahomes. So he jumps out the window. Nobody knows.
And it's a killer because it's 32 yards.
Yes.
And you know what the Chargers are saying? My God.
Yes.
We had him and we didn't have him.
But to your point, Patrick Mahomes is much more dangerous outside of the pocket, either rolling left or rolling right. The one thing you want to do is keep him in the pocket. So, Skip, you're gonna have to keep. You see what they do with Lamar? They blitz Lamar, keep his butt in the pocket. We're gonna make you make a quick decision. Well, Mahomes, you better make him pat the ball.
Yeah.
But if you don't, but see, Skip, now you got that cover 2 shell and you get guys running around. They see him scrambling. Now I've lost my man. But to do what he did in that moment, Skip, considering the degree of difficulty that he had, The 9:30 to skip, last 9 minutes and 30 seconds of the game in overtime. 197 passing yards with 3 touchdowns. That's big time. Wouldn't you say that was Brady-esque?
Yakety yak yak.
Don't do that. Hold on. What did Perriman do? Was that a 58-yard touchdown bomb?
No.
You just told me it was a 3-yard route.
Well, he runs 4.25.
No mercy.
Russell Westbrook became the latest Laker entered into the NBA's health and safety protocols yesterday, and he'll now miss games for his first time this season. Their total now sits at 4 players on the list, with Russ joining Avery Bradley, THT, Dwight Howard, and LA is planning to use a hardship exemption to sign free agent Isaiah Thomas to a 10-day contract to fill the roster void. But the purple and gold will be left yet again to try to find a rhythm without key contributors in the lineup, and it feels like they've kind of been doing that all season. So, Shannon, how do you think they'll look without Russ?
Well, Skip, I've seen this. Basically, the big two without Russ. The question is, I know what I'm going to get from LeBron. LeBron has been sensational in the lineup this year. What type of game am I going to get from Anthony Davis? And now, Skip, we're going to be relying on guys that haven't played a whole lot. Now that Russ is out, are you going to play Rondo?
Yep.
Rondo, for the last 2 weeks, Skip, has been DNP, coach's decision.
Fresh.
Yeah. Okay, now Malik Monk did test out of the protocol. A lot of times he comes in and he does a little handling of the ball.
He does.
But are you feel comfortable with no Bron, Malik Monk running the offense for, say, 20 minutes? I don't think so, Skip. So I think they're going to probably lean on Rondo to do that situation. Bron can't play anymore. He's already playing 37 minutes. And hell, if he had enough games, he'd be one of the top 5 in minutes played this year.
I know, but he sleeps. That's what he says. I sleep, right? And he has a couple of glasses of wine every night. He's good to go. Play him 40 minutes.
Well, if it's caused you to sleep like that, I might need to get on that wine kick then. But I just think the thing is, Skip, look, and they signed Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas has played 87 games in 4 years. I've never seen someone get better at something by not doing it. Yeah. Now, maybe Isaiah is a unique situation, but Isaiah Thomas hadn't played a whole lot of meaningful NBA basketball games. And I see some of the highlights that he's showing and pick up games. And I saw
he just scored 42 in a G League.
Yeah, I saw that, but that's not the NBA.
No.
And so it's going to be very interesting to see what he actually has. At one point in time, he was a very good 3-point shooter, but over his last couple of years, that has taken a plunge. So for me, Skip, what do I think they'll be any better? If any, maybe marginally. Maybe they don't turn the ball. Maybe that's 5 fewer turnovers than what they would have had Russ been in there, Skip. But I don't expect to see a whole scale improvement. Like, man, well, that's what they need. And if you do see that, then what?
Good question.
Let's just say for the sake of argument.
Great question.
Let's just say for the sake of argument. That's what you and I do. They go out there and they beat the Timberwolves by 20. LeBron, AD, and everybody play unbelievable. Then what do you do?
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Shannon Sharpe. You can't read this across the table because you can't read my hieroglyphics anyway, but I wrote down my first words out of my mouth were going to be on this topic. Lakers by 15 tonight. I believe this is the night where it all starts. Or you might say stops.
Yeah.
This is the night the Lakers launch. This will be the first night in the 29. This will be the 30th game they play this year. Game number 30 will look like a championship team night tonight because it will be the night where the motto will be, the message will be after the game, free at last. Man, in Russ, they do not trust. You know it and I know it because in the big picture, for these first 29 games, 16 wins and 13 losses, he's been a disaster. You were upfront about it, no, before they even brought him in. You were all Buddy Hield all the time. Yeah. I was too. I said this will not work. And I don't care what you say, it has not worked.
No, it
because 16 and 13 isn't good enough.
That's not working.
When you've played the second easiest schedule in the Western Conference.
Right.
Remaining is the single hardest schedule in the NBA.
Right.
So it needs to start tonight. I don't know how you undo the situation, but I think there's going to be a huge heaved sigh of relief here where they can finally get down to the business of what this team can be without Russell Westbrook gumming up the works, because he's trying hard. He's trying to sacrifice.
Yeah, there's no question that he's trying.
All right. So what do we see across the board from him so far? 20 points a game. Not bad. Yeah. It's career low for him since his rookie year. 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Well, he's still on course. He's still within eyeshot of averaging a triple-double for his beloved Los Angeles Lakers. And if you let him have his head, if you just let him keep playing the way he's playing, I don't doubt by the end of the year, through 82 games, he'll figure out a way to average a triple-double.
And guess where you'll be? At the end of the
Thank you.
He'll average a triple-double. At the end of the year, you won't be in the play-in tournament or the playoffs.
All right, so just to put this in perspective for everyone, LeBron still leads this team in what's called usage rate. How much do you have? What percentage of the time do you have the ball in your hands? LeBron's had it in his hands in the games he's played, and obviously he's missed some games, but 29.3% of the time. That's his second lowest of his career since his rookie year. Why is that? Because of Russell Westbrook. And to a certain degree because of Anthony Davis. But that was already happening the last 2 years.
Right.
So now, second on the team in usage rate is Russ at 27.7. So LeBron's 29.3, Russ 27.7. So he's not threatening LeBron to take over usage rate, but he's still second on the team, slightly ahead of Anthony Davis. Okay, so Russ's usage rate is the third lowest since his first 2 years in the league. So he's trying to sacrifice a little bit for LeBron and the Lakers' sake. And then AD brings up the rear, but he's 27.6%. That's his third lowest of his career since his first 2 years. So they're all sacrificing a little bit.
And we should have expected that, Skip, in order for this thing to have some semblance of working. Everybody's got to sacrifice.
A little bit. Russell Westbrook, as we speak, is leading the National Basketball Association in turnovers.
Oh, he ain't sacrificed that?
With 134. He hadn't sacrificed that. 134 turnovers, that's 4 better or worse, if you want to say, than James Harden.
James Harden hadn't played in 2 games.
He hadn't played, 134. The problem, as you have acknowledged, and I have beaten this table over, is that every turnover is not created equally. Russ's turnovers are so painfully, inexplicably eyesore turnovers. They're so shockingly bad that they become psychologically demoralizing for the whole basketball team, because you see them happen again and again where he goes into the lane with no plan and he leaves his feet, which you get yanked for in high school. You leave your feet with no idea, and I think I'll throw it over there. And it goes nowhere. And Shannon Sharpe sits back up in his palatial estate in Bel Air, and he says, what the? But
Skip, how many times must you go drive the ball, jump up in the air with no place to go, no person to throw the ball to before you say, you know what? I probably should stop doing that.
I don't know.
I mean, but it's every game.
You had the great analogy yesterday. He's like a great DB, defensive back, because you have no conscience and no memory.
Zero.
No memory.
Zero.
Every play is a new play. It's like it's never happened before. This is my first NBA play, and if I throw it away, it will go out of my memory. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so what did we read a couple days back? That the Lakers have had internal discussions about trying to move Russ. Well, we both agreed. How? I mean, because nothing seems plausible or realistic to move him, but sometimes when you really want to get rid of somebody, you just find a way to get rid of him.
Well, my internals have been churning since they signed him. That's what my internals have been doing.
All right, I got it. So tonight is the first night, because he has played all 29 games to his credit. He's got some Iron Man going, right? And what is he up to, 33?
33.
Okay, so he's still playing at a highly durable pace, high minutes at age 33, and yet all of a sudden you get, quote unquote, I hope he's okay with the COVID, because you never know how hard he's hit by COVID, so I'm going to knock on wood for him on the COVID. God bless him there. But it does open a little window for you at Minneapolis
to see what his life is like without him.
Let's see what happens now. Do you suddenly see a new body language from LeBron and AD? Do they start to click together better than they were because there was a third wheel that they had to try to keep involved? And I say it's messing up LeBron's overall offensive rhythm because you have to defer too much to his wild flights of fancy where he just goes off. And I'm sure LeBron in the back of his mind is backing up the court. He's back pedaling up the court after one of those turnovers thinking, what are we doing?
Exactly.
Why do I have to live with this?
Okay, but here's the thing, Skip. But now you're going to have pieces that haven't been playing a whole lot possibly go into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Now, Jenny mentioned all the guys you're down. Avery Bradley was in the starting lineup.
He was D'ing people up. I give you that.
Yeah. So now with no Russ, no THT, no Avery Bradley, no Dwight Howard, who's in the start? Is Austin Reeves starting now? Does Malik Monk start now?
Okay. I don't know. I think Rondo's going to start at the quote-unquote point.
You think so?
Yep, I do.
I would be. I'm thinking AR-15. How do you get AR-15 in this number? I guess he's number 15. But he has, I guess his IG post, he was 12 in college.
I don't even remember. I watched him a lot in college, but I don't even remember what his number was.
It's going to be...
he's AR-12?
Well, they call him AR. I guess he's 15 now because Dwight Howard has 12, I think, for the Lakers. But my thing is, Skip, I just don't know... how much better are they going to be? I think they would be better without Russ. Mm-hmm. But I'm not so sure, Skip, if they didn't have Russ, all of a sudden, instead of 13 losses, they'd have 5. I don't believe that, especially if LeBron is out. You and I both know, if LeBron is out, their record is what it is. It's not, Russ helped them win the game in San Antonio, maybe 1 or 2 games. So give or take, if he's not there, maybe you 1 game better, 2 games worse. But the question is, so we know AD, we know LeBron's going to start. Okay, fill out the next 3. Okay, Wayne Ellington started the other night.
That would work.
So who the other 2?
Maybe. You start Dwight Howard to deal. Dwight Howard's out, so you can't start. Do you start DJ to deal with Cat? Probably not, because Cat can take him outside and drive by him. Okay, all that matters to me is LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And their connection, their rapport,
yes,
their ability to play off each other in a 2-man game in the half-court set.
Well, they should be
without
more
Russ
pick and roll
to gum up the works.
Yeah, they should be in the pick and roll.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see how it feels. Let's see how it looks. Let's see if they get off to a hot start. Now, the odds makers / bettors, they're going the other way. They're against what I'm saying right now because for a while, the Lakers opened as a 1-point favorite. Yeah. And the T-Wolves have been playing pretty well.
Yeah, and hit 10 threes out of 14 attempts.
He did.
Cat's been playing well.
All of a sudden, they're a 1.5 favorite at home. And I assume it's just because of the Russ news and maybe Avery Bradley a little bit on top of the other losses, Dwight and THT. Okay?
Well, AD, you better come with it. Now, Cat looking for a bounce back. Cat been having the last couple of years. He been down now. He done, he had some tough times with his mom passing. He had COVID. So he had some tough. Hey, he looking like Cat again, for real.
Kentucky versus Kentucky.
Yeah,
Here we go.
All right. Battle of the number ones. Who the baddest big man out of Kentucky?
Maybe AD says, okay, I got this.
Well, I hope he says I got this, because I already know what GOAT gonna do.
I think Lakers going to win big tonight.
I don't know about big.
And I think it's going to cause a huge controversy.
Skip, you know what? They won 2 games big. They beat the Rockets and they beat they beat Sacramento. They won 2 games big.
They actually beat Cleveland by 12. And that was, now that I look back, because Cleveland's been balling.
Oh, man. They just beat somebody the other night, too. They just beat somebody the other night.
They beat the Boston.
OKC. Okay, they beat OKC. Remember, they got OKC, paid them back for what they did the past 2 times.
Okay. And as I told you yesterday, that their 16 wins have come against teams that are 56 games under 500. 56 games.
Well, I wish there was 70 games under 500. So that means we'd have more wins.
Well, you're going to get one tonight.
I hope so.
I'm on the bandwagon now.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You just said
go,
that.
Bron, go.
No, you know what? You just said that, Jen. I know what he's doing. He just said that. So, LeBron, you can't beat Cat. You can't beat Ant. You will come here on Monday and gloat. But you know what? I might have something to gloat about, too.
Okay.
You're right here.
Oh, you're picking the Giants? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything.
I'll give you the Giants straight up.
No, you want to give me the points.
It depends who will quote on Monday. It all depends on how the Cowboys perform because they can clinch a playoff spot this weekend. And Dallas fans are certainly hoping to see a bounce-back game from Dak Prescott to help the cause here. Well, Jerry Jones is confident his quarterback will rebound, comparing him to Superman as well as another one of Skip's guys, saying, quote, I had always thought that was the Cowboys' Tom Brady and how I have seen Brady mentally take the different challenges, different ebbs and flows. In that sense, I am not worried. We have in Dak the best guy I know on the planet to right the ship. He's compared him to Brady. Shannon, do you love or hate what
I hate it.
said?
I hate it with a passion. And it's you, because you started this Dak's rookie year. He's Brady-esque.
I said S.
No.
I said ESQUES.
No.
Okay.
And then you got Jerry. First of all, this is what I know about Tom Brady. And I don't know how many people, maybe you're not old enough to remember, but in year 6, Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowl wins with 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Tom Brady had the greatest coach in NFL history coaching him, and an owner that did not have a TV show or radio show and never tried to make the game about him. So therein lies. So there's nothing about Dak Prescott, his play or his surrounding that should remind anybody of Tom Brady. Nothing. And for Jerry, see, that's the thing with Jerry. He just go overboard with the hyperbole, Skip. He's like, look, Dak is a mentally tough guy. We've seen him overcome the adversity, the broken ankle. We see how he's come back. He's fought back through that. So I'm not worried about that. But then, and that's the thing. And then you turn around and you go, oh, he's Brady. He's Tom Brady. What? Skip, what has Tom had to overcome mentally? Okay, he tore his knee up in 2008. Okay. But up until that point in time, Skip, it was smooth sailing. The guy had 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs. Stop. And we know from when Tom Brady, once he became Tom Brady, say year 4, year 5, nobody ever said Tom Brady was in a slump. I have yet to hear. He had a bad game. They tried to write him off in Kansas City way back when, what was that, 2014? But he wasn't in no slump. He had a bad game. Tom Brady ain't never strung together a month like what Dak Prescott has had. I want to go back. If you combine all his bad games, maybe you get a month, maybe you get 2 months, but not in the same season. For Jerry to say that, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And that's your team. You vouch for him. But you started this foolishness. You talk about, oh, he's Brady-esque in that. In what? Just tell me, what did he remind you of Brady-esque as? What aspect?
70% completion percentage, managing the game, making the throws that counted, coming up clutch when you needed to be clutch. Maybe not gaudy statistics, but effective game-winning statistics. 13-3 as a rookie starter. That worked. Brady
and they've been 13-3 since.
Okay. Well, you just said it was when he was a rookie. Yeah, okay, I did that.
Okay.
And since then, I haven't seen many glimpses of Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Okay, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
We all know that Jerry Jones, unfortunately, leads the National Football League in kooky quotes, in over-emotional kooky quotes. And these were right up at the top. He was at the owners' meeting yesterday. He walked outside of the Las Colinas hotel there and just spilled. And my first thought after I read all these quotes was, because you want to talk about gushing about how much you believe heart and soul in Dakota Rain Prescott. This was gushing.
You thought he had a little something to drink early that morning?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This is vintage Jerry. I mean, this is sober Jerry. I know sober Jerry, and he can gush way more when he's sober. Trust me.
Well, I was hoping he had something to drink. That would explain it. You can't be sober and saying these kind of things, Skip.
So you're going to appreciate what I'm about to say. This is the same owner that it took the better part of 2 football seasons to sign Dak Prescott. It went on for 2 football seasons. And Shannon Sharpe, to his credit, kept saying, what are you waiting for? Do you believe in him or not? Because the market is only going up, 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 up. Yep. The longer you wait, the longer you second guess, the more you're going to pay. It's pay me now or really pay me through the teeth later.
Yes.
And he waited to the bitter end. And all of a sudden, he didn't just pay him. He gushed paying him. He just spilled all over it. It was like an oil gusher of money for Dakota Rain Prescott. $75 million this year.
Okay.
He overpaid him, and he told him that at the press conference.
Thank you.
He sat right next to him in full view of the world and said, basically, I just overpaid you. And I said, you're right. You overpaid him.
You think Mr. Kraft ever said he overpaid Tom Brady?
No, because he frankly always underpaid him.
He underpaid him. He like, man, Tom, I'm stealing you.
That's correct.
You a bargain.
That was actually Jordan-esque because they always underpaid Michael Jordan in Chicago.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is Jerry doing? He's going LeVar Ball here because he's trying to speak it into existence because he knows he overpaid. He admitted he did.
Right.
And now his one shot at a Super Bowl back in the neighborhood in which he was born, which I'll tell you the truth, I didn't even know about this until I think it was Sam Farmer of the LA Times had this nugget that his actual birth house, and I think they moved very quickly in the first year or two to Little Rock, but his birth house was in Inglewood, California, about a mile from the new SoFi Stadium, about a mile away. And so Jerry made a joke yesterday about, I may have been dreaming about this Super Bowl since 42, as in I was born in 1942. So maybe in the back of my subconscious, I was dreaming about this Super Bowl, knowing there was going to be this, multi-billion-dollar stadium built about a mile away from this birth house. And it was just a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath,
I would have never. I didn't think Jerry had anything Californian in him.
No, I didn't either, but he really didn't because he was gone before he even started to become a human, as it started to formulate. Okay, so now we look at these quotes and we say, well, Jerry, what are you talking about? Well, he's comparing him to Brady because he's always seen Brady. If he has a bad game, he immediately, there's no slump with Tom Brady because Dak is flat out in a slump. I don't care what you say. Since he came off the calf injury and Cooper Rush went up to Minnesota and won that game, the defense actually won the game. 1 of 13 on third down for Kirk Cousins. Whew. Okay, so we look at the QBR since that game, and against Denver, he had a 23, and then we had the one blip, the one aberration, the one outlier of a 94 against Atlanta. But look at this, 11 at Kansas City, then a 45 against Las Vegas and lost the game in overtime, and a 40 at New Orleans, and they managed to pull it off, and then a 10 at Washington, a 10, and they still won the game. So even if I add in the 94, his average QBR over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks is 37. Well, it's horrible. He has played horrible football by his $75 million standards.
So by that stat, by what you just said, when have we ever seen Tom Brady string together a 6-game stretch like this?
Because it would be the story of the world. We would be talking about
Tom would quit.
But Tom, you know what? Right now, if he did that, he would quit.
Tom's like, I'm out of here. Y'all ain't finna get no bad tape on me for 6 games, for 6 weeks.
He would just readily, he said this before. When I become a liability, I'm walking, man. Because he's good, man. He's good to go. He's already been there and done all of that. The way nobody's ever done it before. So Jerry's trying to say that Dak is built like Brady, that internally he's got that kind of fire to be able to take the challenge. And he said, here's the money quote, we got the guy to deal with an offense that was flying high a few weeks ago and needs adjusting now. We got the man built for that task in Dak Prescott. So he's saying that's what revs his engine is the challenge like this. Well, it hadn't revved for 7 games.
It's been a challenge.
Okay, it's been going and going. And he said, we got the best guy on the planet to do this, to right the ship. When I say he will get this back right, I can't tell you how real that is inside me. So Jerry's just spilling that I believe with all my heart and soul. Well, he's trying to will it because he plunged. He plunged just like he used to do in the oil field. But you know what? You can dry hole it in the oil field. And is that going to turn into a dry hole? I hope not. Because he's shown you in flashes and bursts before he's highly capable. And I keep telling you, they are still second in the National Football League in overall yards gained.
But haven't we seen, so after 6 years of that 6th season, aren't this is who you are?
Okay.
Isn't this who Dak is?
What did I tell you the other day? He is wildly inconsistent, and he always has been, except for his rookie year when he had Zeke running the ball at the highest level of his career. Zeke dominated the National Football League only one time. It was the rookie year. He averaged 106 yards every game, and only missed the one because they held him out for the last game. So that was 15 games of 106 yards a game. Is that not the quarterback's best friend?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's how you went 13-3. Well, now Jerry knew in his heart of hearts, wildly inconsistent, because even when they went to contractual war in 2019, after those first 3 games against those garbage teams, when he was leading the NFL in QBR, what happened over the final 13 games? It wasn't very good. He was graded by Pro Football Focus the 14th best quarterback in the league over the last 13 games.
You remember something happened before Dak got his money? Zeke got paid when you told Jerry, don't pay him. His numbers are coming down, down, down. Jerry says, but no, this is our offense. When he runs well, we play well. When he doesn't run well, we don't play well. Jerry was trying to tell you, everybody says, you don't spend that kind of money in a running back. What did Jerry do? Say, yeah, we do.
Okay, they did. And then they really did with the quarterback.
Oh.
$75 million. Tom Brady this year makes $27 million as the defending champ and the Super Bowl MVP.
It's a lot easier to get off a $15 million running back than it is a $40 million quarterback.
Okay, then Jerry went completely over the edge with the Superman quote. And this is the one that just completely, I sort of got the Brady. There's some little bit of Brady and Dak somewhere. But Superman, you got me. Okay, here's the quote. We're going to see Superman out of him, and then we will see a few times when Superman's jets didn't work just right. Well, Superman didn't have any jets. I don't know what he's talking about.
You talking about Batman?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Superman?
Jerry probably really wasn't into Superman.
He wasn't in the comic. He wasn't in the comic.
No.
Okay.
But then he said his cape fluttered on him. His cape fluttered? Well, there's this thing called kryptonite. You know, like that's when you.
Superman. Okay. I mean, the Superman cape never fluttered. Either kryptonite got him down, or that was it, or he was Clark Kent and he had no powers.
Okay, so he's saying that Dak will get it done because he will turn back into Superman.
But when has he ever been Superman?
Okay, I'm going to give you this. I thought he was Superman-ish, in the opening game at GOAT because he had played no preseason, no padded practice, no preseason game. Was I just saying, Jerry, what are you doing? And Dak goes out there against the GOAT, at the GOAT on solo Thursday night stage, and he goes 42 of 53 for 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. QBR was 67, not great. But the point was, he goes in that final drive, 60 yards in 11 plays. He came up Brady-esque clutch in that drive to get the field goal that put them ahead 29-28 with a minute and 24 left, and then you know the rest of the story. And I said moral victory. Then I thought he was Superman-ish the following Sunday at Justin Herbert. We saw him on that same stage last night at SoFi Stadium. And in that final drive for the walk-off field goal, he went 49 yards in 11 plays. And there were a couple of big conversions, big passes, one to Zeke, one to CD, that were big-time clutch throws. So I saw those 2 clutch drives. We know he's got that in him, but I haven't seen much of it the rest of the year.
But the thing that makes the great players great is that you consistently see great more times than not. Yes, Brady's had bad games, but you've seen far more great games than bad games. Rodgers, people losing their mind with Patrick Mahomes because of the expectations, because we've seen so much great. We haven't seen this up and down with these guys.
Nope.
We see up and down with Dak every year in and year out. We had, what's wrong with Dak? Is Dak can Dak lead this team? Question. At some point in time, we're going to ask this question again for the year. Can Dak take this team to the Super Bowl next year? Can Dak get this team to the Super Bowl? We're not asking this question about Mahomes. We already know what Rodgers can do, and Mahomes, these guys. And so that's the breadth that we believe that they paying Dak like he's a top 5 quarterback. It's time for him to put the goods up, Skip.
Well, it's top 1 quarterback right now. Seriously. And so I told you when they signed him, you got to get 1 Super Bowl out of this. Even if it's just get to.
Well, if he wins the Super Bowl, Skip, that's Jerry said,
done.
Know what?
Okay.
You know what? Maybe I want him to get a Super Bowl. Then Jerry will go to the Suns. Jerry will go to his Highland Ranch, Highland Park home, and he'll just chill. Say, "Hey, Steven, you and Jerry Jr. and Charlotte, y'all take it over."
Going out on the yacht.
Yeah. Me and Miss G, we gonna sail on the yacht. We gonna sail on the yacht. Y'all never gonna see here Jerry Jones again.
I just don't think he has it in him.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Can he drift into the background?
No way.
No way. So. We're going to talk about this much deeper later, but I'm going to say it just quickly. The other half of this equation is how Dak has been handling with the talk of a slump. And he says, I won't give you slump. I'm not in a slump. But not once have I heard Dak just flat out own his slump and just say, like a lot of great quarterbacks would say in this circumstance, I owe this team, and I promise you I'm going to play better. I haven't heard that from Dak one time this year. And it bothers me a little bit because it's still a little bit of blame shifting. We're all in this together, right? Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, but everybody ain't get $40 million. Everybody ain't got $40 million.
Yeah.
You got that.
And now you got to live up.
That's your guy. You embraced him. You got to ride him. You embraced him for 6 years. Y'all been attached that to him.
Yeah, we know that.
That's your guy.
No mercy.
The Bucs can clinch their first NFC South crown since 2007 with a victory over the Saints Sunday night. But keep in mind, Tom Brady is 0-3 in the regular season against New Orleans since signing with Tampa. And yesterday, TB12 gave their defense some praise, saying, quote, they've got a great, powerful front. They've played together a long time. It's been one of the top defenses in the league. So, Shannon, Fox Bet Sportsbook does have the Bucs as 11-point favorites right now. So will they win by more than 11?
Yep.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'll give Skip 12 right now. As a matter of fact, he's 13. Skip, so let me. I just want to know one thing. You want me to take Taysom Hill over Tom Brady? Because that's what it comes down to. A guy that's not an accurate thrower, that's not a great thrower of the football, with an injured finger on his throwing hand. You want me to take him over a guy that's having argument at the lead at the MVP race. So that's what you want me to do. No. They beat them because I think the thing with Tampa last time they played New Orleans, they were prepared for Jameis, and Jameis got out to a great start. But then he got injured and brought Trevor Siemian in. I guarantee you they didn't take one snap thinking Trevor Siemian was going to play it down. And so it caught him off guard. They know what Taysom Hill is. They know what he can do. Now, they're going to try to run. I mean, they're going to, the Bucs have the best number 3 ranked rush defense. They scored 37.5 points at home. They're a great home football team. That's why everybody in the NFC is trying to get the home field. They do not want to go to Tampa, Skip. Even though Tampa can take their show on the road, they're almost become unbeatable at home, especially the last year. Basically, from when they went on that stretch last year, Skip, to where they are now, they've become almost unbeatable at home. And so you don't want Green Bay, like, you know what? Hey, if we got to face them again, we still want to take our chances at Lambeau. So, but for me, Skip, no, they're going to cover this. They're going to beat the Saints by 11 points. I'll be foolish to take Taysom Hill over Tom Brady. No.
Shannon Sharpe. If I didn't love Tom Brady so much, and if I were a betting man, I would bet this game, if you gave me 11, with both fists. I would plunge the way Jerry used to plunge in the oil fields on this game. I would bet a lot of money, plus 11 points, against Tom Brady at home. I'm not saying they won't win the game, because I believe they'll win the game, but I believe it'll be a struggle and a battle.
With Taysom Hill at quarterback?
Go to the wire. Have you been watching what the New Orleans defense has been doing to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.? We just talked about Superman. This is kryptonite. This is 11 pieces of kryptonite on this New Orleans defense against Brady. He has a hard time against Dennis Allen's defense. Dennis Allen has his number and has had it for quite some time. And this game scares me to death because I look at what has happened. And I'll give you Taysom Hill. I don't even care about Taysom Hill, although he has been running the football at a very high level, because against my Cowboys, he went 11 times for 101 yards. Yeah. And at the Jets, he went 11 times for 73 more yards. Hadn't thrown for much, but he's fairly accurate. His percentage at the Jets, 15 to 21 for 175. So he's not a liability throwing the football, even though he's got his smashed finger. But again, my point is, it doesn't matter. It only matters what the defense is doing. Pro Football Focus right now ranks the Saints defense second best. Just graded, overall grade, second best. They are number 1 in the league in red zone defense. What is Brady's strength? Red zone. What has he since he went to Tampa Bay? I've lost track of the numbers.
Yeah, like 60 touchdowns and 0 picks.
Yes, correct. He hasn't thrown a pick yet. Well, what have we seen him do fairly regularly against the New Orleans Saints? Can we flash back to that first opener in his first game at New Orleans? He takes a little speed out to remember the immortal Justin Watson out of Penn. Little speed out, and guess who? Wop, wop. Jack Rabbit got him. That's a pick 6.
Yep.
That came with 13-13 left in the third quarter, and that made the score 24-7 in favor of the home team. Yikes. Okay, then we fast forward to, they come to
Sunday night
to the stadium where you say, well, this team's almost invincible. Well, they weren't that night because they lost 38-3, and here's Tom's last interception. He threw 3. Is that not the most pathetic interception in the history of Tom Brady's career? Can we see that one more time? I got to see it one more time. This is the end. This is like a give up. I don't care. I'm just going to throw it to you kind of interception. He's already thrown 2. The game is completely out of hand. Have you ever seen him do that? Is that not the definition of bad idea?
Like, get me out of here.
Get me out of here. You go ahead and catch it. I'm going home, right? I'm done. 38-3. He threw for 209 that night. No touchdowns and 3 picks. I'm going to remind you, they went and won a playoff game at Saints, and it surprised me a little bit because Brady didn't throw it that well.
He didn't have a great day, no.
He threw for 199 in that game, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But you know what the story of the game was. Drew Brees walked into the sunset off 3 picks. It was the defense that took over the game more than, and you told me that even the fumble play that Antoine Winfield Jr. caused. So it was a turnover game led by the defense more than Brady's spearheading the offense, right?
Yes.
Okay, then what happened on October 31st of this year at New Orleans? Tom did throw 4 touchdown passes, but he threw 2 interceptions, and late in the game, 1:24 left in the game, could we see what happened? Guess who? P.J. Williams, gone, pick 6. Yikes. 36-27 home team. So guess what Tom Brady has done in 4 games now against the arch rival Saints within that division? He's got 8 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Right now he's averaging 318 yards passing a game, MVP numbers, but against New Orleans in those 4 games, 256. He has averaged, his offense has scoring 20 points a game in 4 games. Wow, 20 points a game? So 11, you're telling me it's swung completely around where they're 11-point home favorites?
Guess what?
You know what? New Orleans is saying, thank you.
Yeah, and Tom is looking at it like, you know what? They think they own me. Hey,
well, they do. They have.
Hey, B, what we got cooking? He's to Byron level. Hey, B, what we got cooking for this weekend? We got something special for me, Tom.
Okay, well, I hope so. I hope you're right. But listen, I'm reading his quotes, and this is the first time I've ever read his quotes and said, this isn't just like poor mouthing or overhyping the opponent, because Jenny read some of the quotes, but he said they have a great, powerful front. Well, when it comes to play, they do. They played together for a long time. Yes, they have. Dennis Allen does a great job preparing. Yes, he does. Fundamentally sound. Yes, they are. They make you earn it, said Tom Brady. Yes, they do.
And it's a division rival.
It's a division rival. And then he keeps going about individuals. They've got a good rush with great linebackers. Demario Davis is one of the great linebackers in the NFL, and I do agree with that. He's a little underrated because he's a little off radar.
Well, and Quan Alexander, I think he's back. He's been playing because teams were taking advantage of Warner. He's a rookie out of Ohio State who doesn't play well in space. And if you can't play well in space, it's hard for you to be on the field against a Tom Brady-led offense because that's what he will do. He will spread you out, find out where the weakness is, and just go fishing and just catch all the fish in the fishing hole.
Okay. And then he just ticks off the secondary by first names. He goes, Marshawn, Marcus, Malcolm, great.
Right.
So he's been watching them like a hawk. He's been breaking the film down like a wild man.
What you need to happen, Skip, is that what they can do is that they normally take Marshawn Lattimore and they take him and they put him on Mike Evans. And it says, okay, you got him. And then they try to play zone and try to combo everything else because they know in most situations he's going to look for 14 and he's going to look for 87. So in third down situations, let's try to combo those guys. Marshawn, you got Mike Evans wherever he goes. Yeah, we're going to keep a whole safety, but more times than not, he goes deep, you got him. He runs across, you got him.
Okay, and I told you that P.J. Williams is pretty good as a nickel corner, and that Adebo, I hope I'm saying his name right, every time I look up, he's making a play. They're deep and talented in their secondary. My point is that's a very good defense. I have no idea what happened. Buffalo went in there a couple of weeks ago and just
Buffaloed them.
They did Buffalo them. It wasn't at 31-6. It was a wipeout.
But Skip, here's the thing. Tom Brady is basically, they have 4 games left. So let's just say we're going to say a game is a mile. Tom Brady is 4 miles from winning his 4th MVP.
Yep.
The likelihood of him stubbing his toe.
I got it. Okay. Kryptonite.
He's out
Nemesis.
front. Skip. He's out front. You know, you get the marathon, Skip. You got 4 miles to go, and you got a 2-minute lead.
Okay, I hear all that. But the numbers scream he's going to have a hard time. I would take a 1-point victory and run with it. I'll take 25-24 Tampa. Well, and you're saying it's a guaranteed lock of a cover?
Yeah, Taysom Hill's going to need to have 250 yards passing, another 100 yards rushing, and yeah, he's going to have to play the game of his life. And the defense is going to have to be every bit as good as they were. They can't. Well, Skip, first of all, you let Tom Brady throw 4 touchdowns at home, 4 are going to turn into 6. So okay. you can't do that at home. On the road, no. He's at home. He's very comfortable. That crowd's going to be in his. You know how the dome is. They be cheering the same song. Okay, Tampa's like, hey, we got something special. It's been a long time. It's been many a year, Skip. Last year we had a lot to cheer about. This year we got something to cheer about. We don't know how many more years we're going to have a whole lot to cheer about.
That's true. I'll buy that.
So those fans show up. I ain't know Tampa had that many people, let alone that many fans.
All I know is I hope the Hall of Famer across from me is dead right about what's going to happen. Blowout Bucs.
But you know what coming. That guy at Lambeau. He said, y'all don't forget about me and that MVP now.
Guy at Lambeau.
Oh, I thought you just gave the MVP to.
I say Tom Brady's in the lead.
Oh.
No mercy.
Celebrate Christmas with a boom. Fox Sports proudly presents a documentary tribute to one of football's most beloved figures, the coach, the broadcaster, the video game. All Madden premieres Christmas Day at 2 p.m. Eastern before Browns-Packers on Fox. Well, Kevin Durant continued his MVP march yesterday by dropping 34 points in the Nets' 114-105 win over the 76ers last night. Brooklyn was still missing 7 players due to health and safety protocols, leaving KD to play 39 minutes. And before the game, Coach Steve Nash admitted that Durant's big minutes really isn't sustainable. But in the meantime, he led his team in scoring, rebounds, and assists for yet another game. So, Shannon, has KD pulled ahead in the MVP race, in your opinion?
Yeah. I mean, he's pulled way ahead in my estimation, Skip, because he's doing everything right now. You ask him to still give you 30-plus points a game, he does that. But since James Harden out, we need somebody to run the offense, KD. We need somebody not only get your points, but help them get theirs. Okay, I'll give you 8, 10 assists tonight. But we also going to need you to get on the glass, too. Okay, I'll give you 11, 12 of those tonight. Skip, I'm not saying that Kevin Durant could not have always done this. He's just never been asked to do all of this to the magnitude in which he's doing it now. Scoring, we know he can do that in his sleep. He's an elite scorer. He's very prolific. Prolific is defined as producing in abundance. That's what he can do with points.
You look that up?
Nobody look that up, Skip. That's what Savannah State do for them HBCU. They give you that knowledge.
They taught you that?
Taught me that.
Wow.
Taught me that. They had no idea what it meant until I got there.
Well, then that's the Harvard of the South.
Skip, I mean, the guy's playing 37, 38 minutes a night. And I agree with Steve Nash. It's not sustainable. But you know what? What is sustainable? Losing if he doesn't play these minutes. So the question is yours. He's got them to the number 1 seed, Skip. He's averaging 30 points, 8 and 6. Number 1 seed in the East. Steph is 27, 5 and 6, making 5 threes a game. They're the number 1 seed in the West. But you look at KD's last 3 games, 51, 7 and 9, 34, 13 and 11, 34, 11 and 8. Steph has struggled the last 8 games. He's averaging 23 points, 5, 4 on 35% shooting. Well, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's undeniable. I understand Steph is a great story. He's playing unbelievable. But this is not a Lifetime Achievement Award. You don't get it because you broke the 3-point record. It's he the MVP. Kevin Durant is playing better right now than Steph Curry is. And if you look at it through 30 games, Kevin Durant's the MVP. Because while they were neck and neck over the first 20 games, Kevin Durant has pulled ahead. Since James Harden has been out, and they've asked Kevin Durant to put more, can we put more on your plate? He says yes. Would you like another helping? Kevin Durant says yes. So he's done everything they've asked him to do and more. So in my estimation, Kevin Durant right now, as we have this discussion, is the MVP of the NBA.
So, Mr. Sharpe, I hate to say I told you so, but I did.
You don't hate that. You love that.
I've been trying to tell you for at least 3 years, this is the best player on the planet. I predicted he'd win the MVP this year because I believe he's in the peak of his prime, coming off carrying the U.S. of A. to the gold medal at the Olympics. In fact, he's playing at such a high level right now that even after I watched last night, I sat back and shook my head, and I thought, even I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Because he's playing with 4 rookies, 2 of whom I'd never even heard of before. And he is playing high minutes, but he looks like he's in such peak condition that he looks like he could run all night. So I don't have any qualms about him playing high minutes. And by the way, I've heard from several people who've seen Kevin's workouts before that they're as legendary as LeBron's workouts, but he doesn't post them. And I respect that. He does a lot of weird stuff on social, but he doesn't gloat on social. He doesn't do any gloating, really, that I've ever seen. Maybe you have. I don't follow it that closely.
I mean, I think he has an IG account, but he don't really post a whole lot on it.
Okay, so obviously LeBron is a workout warrior. We see that because we know that from his posts. But so is Kevin, right there with LeBron. And so what's striking me right now, after I read a quote from Cedric Ceballos, the great Ced, in that The Athletic poll that we talked about yesterday, they polled 118 ex-players about this and that and the other, all these categories. And the one quote from Cedric about Kevin was, he's Kareem with a crossover and an unblockable jump shot out to the three-point line. Well, he is.
Yeah.
He's 7 feet tall. I'm pretty sure they don't list him at that, but he just looks 7 feet tall.
I guess for some reason he want to be 6'11".
Okay, well that's
Bro,
fine
you 7
too.
foot.
Okay, you're 7 foot, and you're long.
Yes,
you're a long 7-footer.
Yes.
So to me, and I mentioned this yesterday, and I'm going to hit it harder now. He's becoming the greatest player since Jordan because he's beyond Kobe. God bless Kobe, but it's because he's 7 feet tall. Kobe was what, 6'7"? We'll give Kobe 6'6", 6'7". But Kobe couldn't do some of these things because he wasn't 7 feet tall.
Right.
I've just never seen anything like what this guy is doing.
Well, nobody Skip, because offensively he has no flaws. Offensively, because like you said, he's 7 foot tall. He can shoot the three. He can one bounce, get to the mid range, 20, pull up in your face. He can get all the way to the rim. You foul him, he's 85, he's 88, 90%. So offensively, he's as sound as we've ever had in the NBA. In the history of the game, I don't know if we've ever had an offensive player more fundamentally and more intrinsically great than Kevin Durant. Even Jordan. Jordan couldn't shoot the three like this.
I got it. Yeah, maybe in the grand scheme of things, we just never seen this before.
Not offensively, no.
And yet, defensively this year, he's taken more on his thin shoulders, his little slender shoulders, because he's now ranked 28th in defensive win shares individually, which is top 30 is pretty good. So he's blocking some shots. He's protecting the rim.
He got like that, Skip, when he went to Golden State. You remember at Golden State, because they were so small, Kevin, he was always been a really good weak side help defender that he – Skip is 7 foot tall, so you should be able to block a few shots, Skip. Catch somebody napping. They try to
I would agree. Yeah. Okay, so could we see, and we talked about clutchness, and you said, show me the walk-offs. Well, I don't remember walk-offs, except he almost had a walk-off against Giannis, but he had a toenail on the line. But what he does is just take over entire fourth quarters. So last night was... Yeah, this was something. Can we just see in order what happened?
And he was talking, too. Did you hear him talking?
Was he? Talking to the bench. Okay, that's his first free throw. And by the way, he's an 89% free throw shooter this year, made all 3 in the fourth quarter. That's like too good. Like that, okay, stop it.
You can't stop that.
Who's going to block that?
Nobody.
Who's even going to bother that?
Look at
that one he gets fouled on and gets the end one for a 4-point play. And when he shoots free throws, he swishes free throws, man.
Look at this. That's over 7-2 Joel Embiid.
It was. And he was going at him hard. Like, I got you. Okay.
I mean,
too good.
The guy gets it going.
Too good. Nobody can do that.
No.
Nobody's ever been able to do that.
I mean, you can't block. I mean, the guy's 7 foot tall. He's shooting the ball at an almost 10-foot arc. How you block it? He can pull up and stop. I mean, he can walk into a three. He can put it on the floor, pull up at the mid range from 18, swish it, get all the way to the rim, kiss it off the backboard, lay it up. What?
Okay. So off the court. To me, he's more follower than leader. And he follows Kyrie. Like Kyrie's the leader of the twosome. And Kyrie said, nah, not the Knicks. Let's do the Nets.
Right.
Kevin's like, okay, let's do the Nets. So he goes, and now Kyrie is not going.
You know what
right?
I think, Skip? I don't think he's a follower. I think what he thinks is that whatever you think I'm going to do, I'm not going to do. Nobody would have ever guessed he would go join the Golden State Warriors. But because you don't think I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Everybody said, you know what, KD, but you see how the Knicks position themselves. They got a lot of cap space. They can sign 2 max guys.
The Mecca. You can play in the Mecca, MSG.
He said, nah, I'm going to go next door to the Mecca. I'm going to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, they ain't got no home court advantage.
Where Golden State's fans took over the arena.
Yes.
When Steph played.
So
right?
that's how Skip, he's wired to do whatever you think he should do.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it.
I'll give you that. But then he trusted Kyrie, his brother, to be there. And this is the year where you finally figured it out last year with James. So here you go, right?
Right.
No, you're not, because
James ain't James, and no Kyrie.
Okay, and Kevin is still saying, "I'll just go it alone."
Yeah,
and they are still the best team in the East.
Yep.
They still have the best record in the East, which is pretty phenomenal given what he's been up against.
Yeah, and you're just like, "Hey, come on, Kyrie." Kyrie's like, "Come on, Kevin. Okay, let's do that." And then all of a sudden, Kyrie's like, "Man, I ain't really feeling this right now." He's like, "Okay, I'll go it alone."
Okay. I still got a feeling at some point after the first of the year, Kyrie will return, but it's going to have to be on their terms, not his.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they made that abundantly clear.
Yep.
But Skip, I believe they had to do it this way because you're setting a very dangerous precedent to allow him to do that. Well, I can't practice, so I'm just going to show up on the road and play?
Nope. To their credit, they said no.
Nah.
So for now, Kevin's going to have to play 38 minutes a night.
Hey, he gonna play like that.
Just isn't sustainable for too long. But what he is doing is no doubt extremely impressive on all fronts. No mercy. The Browns are at this point a little over 24 hours away from their game against the Raiders, but things keep getting harder for Cleveland. Despite the NFL changing its COVID testing process heading into the weekend, the Browns may be forced to play with third-string quarterback Nick Mullins after Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum both entered protocol. Baker voiced his concern with the league on social media yesterday, and there's still more questions than answers as the Browns starting lineup has been hit so hard. I have a lot of questions personally. Shannon, what is going on here?
Well, Skip, they're in a very, very tough spot. And as we saw the uptick, the health professionals said we're going to see an uptick around the holidays. And unfortunately, the NFL is not a bubble, Skip. They did not do what the NBA did when they went down to Orlando. Guys couldn't leave. No one can come in. Guys are still able to go and come as they please. So guys go home. They might go out. They might go, and they might be around someone. And you never know. And you get it, and you bring it back. Well, guess what teams are? Teams congregate. Skip, you have a meeting room. You have practice. So if somebody gets it and brings it back, you get an outbreak. That's what you got. You got an outbreak. And I think and the reason why the NFL can't postpone this game, Skip, is because there's no more buys. Where we going to go? Where we going to put you? We got a month left in the season. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to get screwed. If we postpone this game, let's just say, Skip, we push it back to Monday or Tuesday. Now somebody's got to, hold on, why I got to get punished because they got an outbreak? That's not fair to me. That I got to play on a Tuesday and then turn around and play on a Sunday. Yep. They got the outbreak. I don't really know what else the NFL can do. I'm like Baker. You don't test us before practice, but somehow after the practice you test us. And then we got more guys come up positive.
You let us go out there?
Right, exactly. So I get Baker's frustration. He and I finally agree on something.
Really?
We do.
That's a first.
We do, Skip. But I think goes to show you, don't get them boosters. Hey, if I'm a team, I'm like, look, guys, I know we've asked you to do a whole lot. Yep. We ask you to, eat like you're supposed to, get the proper nutrition, proper rest. But can you do us this solid and go get that booster shot?
Got to get the booster.
I please, hey, we'll make a donation to your favorite charity or something. But Skip, I got to, because can you imagine if something like this happened in a playoff game? 20 guys, I don't care who the playoff team is. It might not even be the team. It might be a team that you're rooting against. But they get an outbreak like this here, Skip.
Wouldn't you just have your in-house medical professionals just line everybody up and just say, let's just do this?
I would definitely try.
Because It's win or lose. Mm-hmm. And the NFL threatened before the year, if it comes to this, you're going to have to forfeit. But they don't want to forfeit because it's going to cost them a whole bunch of money.
It'll cost them a whole game, too. We try to get to the playoffs.
Okay, I got it. But they threaten forfeiture because it's going to be on you.
Right.
If you're going to lose, if you're going to just crumble in the face of COVID. Okay, so they got rocked. And they're down so many starters now, I can't even keep up with it because then Njoku actually got eligible again.
Right.
But it feels like they're down at least 11 starters. Right. And it got worse yesterday because then defensive guys, all of a sudden, Grant Delpit and Ronnie Harrison Jr., these are good players. Yeah. So they're so crushed in their secondary, they're just down to like third stringers across the board in the secondary.
If you're 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, and you can run like 4 or 5,
yep, come on down.
You got a helmet and some shoulder pads, Cleveland looking for you.
Okay, so I'm trying to make heads or maybe tails out of what the rebellious Baker Mayfield took to Twitter and just blasted out. This wasn't Baker's house, the progressive ads. This was the other guy. This was the rebel with a cause. Mm-hmm. So he fires off some tweets about make up your damn mind on protocol, showing up and making only 3 teams test. Also, you can keep the game as scheduled to make money. Well, I don't get that one because that's the one that lost me. The next one I was sort of better with, which is the one you're talking about. But are you suggesting that you know for sure that this past week only 3 NFL teams got tested? So that means
29 other teams.
29 other teams didn't get tested?
Right.
Really? They got a pass? And they might be COVID rocked also, but we don't know? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe he called somebody, hey, man, y'all test? Nah, we ain't test this week.
Okay. Well, I don't know where you got his info on that, but that is a shocking accusation.
Very.
That is a dangerous, damaging accusation.
Yes.
And I wish you could back it up by doing an interview today, but whatever. But then he went on to say actually caring about player safety would mean delaying the game with this continuing at the rate it is. Oh, okay, I got that. But they're not in the business of delaying games like this.
But, Skip, here's the thing. Remember last year they were like, you don't have a bye week. Because if you got, guys missed and it's like, okay, you're going to miss your bye.
Well, last year they'd push it back to Tuesday.
Right, you push it back to Tuesday.
Yeah.
But, Skip, here's the thing. Okay, Cleveland, why are you punishing the Raiders? Why the Raiders got to go to Tuesday then turn around and play on Sunday? That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Bingo. Touche. Baker goes on in his second tweet, but to say you won't test vaccinated players if they don't have symptoms, then to pull this randomly doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Well, I would have had some issues with this if Myles Garrett had then not done an interview yesterday in which he said exactly the same thing. The lack of testing that we've done all year, I kind of feel like led us to this point. Mm-hmm. Only testing 1 time a week and guys doing their own things on Monday and Tuesday with their time off. It was kind of a recipe for disaster, said Myles Garrett.
So,
boom, got it.
Right.
Okay, so they're both saying that the testing's out of whack, that to your point, you at least got to test before practice. Make sure everybody's okay.
Because that's the last thing, Skip. If you don't test before practice, a guy might be infected, and guess what? He goes to practice. Hey, man, what you doing, man? Hey, such and such. You shaking hands, you talking close. But again, Skip, here's the thing. Well, if I don't test, we ain't got no positive tests. The more you test, the more likely you're going to come up with positive tests.
Yep. Okay. But Myles Garrett is saying
it's been this way all year.
But he's saying test away.
Yes.
Like test is crazy. And isn't that what the NFLPA is saying now? Let's go forward with more tests, more frequency.
But guess what more tests cost? More money. I'm trying to make money. I ain't trying to spend it. I ain't trying to spend it. Because daily testing gets very expensive for the amount of people that you got to test. You're talking about 65 guys and coaches every single day. Even I understand you're making $300 million, Skip, and whatever the cost may be, it's peanuts compared to what you're making. But I still don't want to pay those peanuts.
Okay. With Case Keenum, I gave him a little bit of a shot. You gave him more of a shot.
Yeah.
But without Case Keenum, seriously?
You're like Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins played some big games for the 49ers the last couple of years. You remember that? Hey, started 8 games last year. I think he started 8 like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. What was his record? I saw it yesterday. It was sub 500.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But he put up occasionally he put up some big numbers.
He actually He's not bad.
He's prone to the turnover, though.
He is. But Case Keenum is a little battler. He's a little baller. You know, he's a little playmaker.
Yeah.
He's the guy who could gut it out, suck it up for one big game and pull off the Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah, he won a playoff game. Yeah. I think he might have won another playoff game with the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you had a shot. I don't give him any shot against even though the Raiders are reeling.
The Raiders?
11 starters?
Yeah.
You're down to third stringers in the secondary?
Well, it's even now.
I mean, Derek Carr should throw the biggest party.
The Raiders starters should be back up, so it's an even ball game now, yeah.
All right. So are you picking Cleveland?
No, I ain't picking them, no.
I'm not either. And by the way, they had just teetered back up to 7-6 with a chance.
Right.
Now, COVID wins, right? Because if you go 7-7, you're done.
But we knew this, Skip. We knew COVID was going to be, and that might be moving forward for the foreseeable future. It might come down who can miss the COVID bug.
The only silver lining is that now there's a new policy as of yesterday that you can test out quicker.
Yeah.
So is it possible? I think you have to test out of it by 4 o'clock today Eastern time.
Right.
If you test out, you'd have a chance to play Sunday if you do the back-to-back 24-hour tests.
Test, which is a good sign, right? If there's no symptoms. Boy, I hate that we're at this point, but it's the reality of the situation, and we're going to have to continue to monitor it.
No mercy.
After the special counsel, the Roman Reigns appeared to advocate for his former client, Brock Lesnar. Will there be a reckoning? Find out when the Tribal Chief returns. It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, tonight on Fox.
Well, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are set to face off against the Ravens in America's Game of the Week on Fox this Sunday, and Green Bay can clinch the division title with a win. Meanwhile, Baltimore is just hoping their former MVP can suit up, as Lamar Jackson has been bothered by an ankle injury all week, and the Ravens say his status will come, quote, down to the wire. Never a good sign. So, Shannon, if Lamar does play, who wins?
Lamar plays, Lamar doesn't play, it doesn't matter. I'm taking the Packers, Skip. I expect Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to keep this thing rolling. They know they worked themselves back into a situation where they can get the number 1 overall seed and have the road to the Super Bowl lead through Lambeau Field. And I think that's what they want, and I don't believe they'll squander this opportunity. Aaron Rodgers, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions over his last 11 games, averaging 344 pass yards over his last 3, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The Baltimore defense, their secondary in particular, Skip, is depleted. And you're talking about a team that can't get to the quarterback. So now you can't get to the quarterback to pressure him, to speed him up, and your back end is severely compromised. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to shoot fish in a barrel on Sunday. Or Saturday. They play Saturday or Sunday? Sunday. It's the late game. Sunday. So with that being said, and if Skip, I believe Huntley at this point in time is a better option than a compromised Lamar Jackson, because the offensive line is bagged up. Villanueva didn't practice yesterday. The offensive line, Staley has been out. So with that being said, if you can't protect him and he's compromised, how good is he? Because he hadn't played well over the last month, Skip. Lamar Jackson has been bad. I don't need to say you put how bad he's been bad. Everybody that's watched the Baltimore Ravens, if you root for the Baltimore Ravens, if you watched any of their games and you don't root for them, Lamar Jackson has been bad. If he's injured, playing behind that offensive line that can't protect him, how good can he be? I don't believe they were going to beat the Packers had he played. And with a defense and the back end that's as depleted as there is, as a front four that can't get pressure on the quarterback, you got to blitz him. And that's what Wink Martindale wants to blitz. The defensive coordinator, he wants to blitz. Do you really want to blitz with Devontae and Lazard and those guys, and Valdez-Scantling? Is that what you really want to do? I don't think so, Skip. This is a recipe for the Packers to have a huge day against this team. Now, I'm not selling the Ravens short because I know what they represent. Play like a Raven. That means even if the great players are not playing, you still play like a Raven. And they'll be formidable, but I just don't see how they overcome all of this.
I think you just made too much sense. And the odds makers and the bettors are all on your side, because would you believe the Green Bay Packers are going to Baltimore as a 5.5-point favorite?
Wow.
In a stadium you know very well.
Dude.
You know what Purple Pride stands for.
Yeah.
You know what that sign means, play like a Raven. Mm-hmm. You know and I know they will put up a fight.
Absolutely.
With or without Lamar Jackson, their former MVP, they're going to put up a fight. I just got a feeling he's going to play because that's what he's made of. And they did say at least it's not a high ankle, it's a medium ankle.
Right.
I don't know, but it's the kind of ankle that with ice and heat all week, if you just stay off it, you might have a chance. If you wrap it and wrap it up tight.
If it was Tom Brady, I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah,
everything Lamar does is athleticism based.
I got it. And obviously, he hasn't practiced, but neither has the other guy.
I mean, when you're that good, do you really need practice?
Yeah. So maybe this is heart overhead because I would love to see the Packers lose.
Yeah, I know you would. There you go.
But I just got a feeling Lamar's going to play. And I've told you before, the greatest thing about that young man, the one thing that I would bank on with that young man, which is why they should pay that young man, is his football character. His football backbone is of the highest order. Doesn't throw the prettiest ball, but he just makes plays, both arm and feet. And he made them to the level he actually won the MVP of this league. I look back on that as that's extraordinary.
But lately, Skip, he's been making plays for both teams.
Got it. I got it. That game against Cleveland was just an eyesore.
What about the one in Pittsburgh?
I got it. I got it. These are the kind of games you better be careful with that guy. Remember how he rose from the dead against Baker last year? Remember what he did?
Yeah.
Okay, he's capable of that. They are a hopeless home underdog.
Yes.
When does that ever happen in the history of the Baltimore Ravens? A hopeless home underdog?
Right.
Really? I mean, think back of their storied past. It just doesn't happen, right? And they won't like it. And their coach can be pretty inspirational to me. And he's, as opposed to my Dallas Cowboy coach, he can inspire.
John to get them going. They'll come out inspired.
That they will come out ready to fight with whatever they have left to fight with. I gave you all your points. You make too much sense. but that's the point. This is still the National Football League.
Yeah.
And this is still Green Bay at Ravens, and the Ravens are just hanging in and hanging on for dear life at 8-5. They badly need this if they want to return to what they think they could be, what they were in stretches this year. We've seen Lamar have some big games and some big moments where they put the game in his hand against the Chiefs, and he did that because that's who he is.
But let me ask you a question, Skip. Don't you think, I mean, I watched Huntley last week.
He was good.
He went to Chicago.
He was scary good.
Thank you.
Against Cleveland, I was like, what?
If Lamar is hobbled, wouldn't you go with him? Because what's the sense of sending Lamar out there hobbled? He gets that ankle re-injured. Now he's probably going to miss a game as opposed to you losing that game, getting him injured, and then he can't play the following week.
What I can't know right now is just how hurt the ankle is. I don't know. I'm just guessing. You're guessing.
Yes.
We're shooting in the dark.
Right.
If it's game time decision and Lamar goes to John and just says, I can do this. If I'm John, I just say I'm going to let him try. And I give you, if you turn it again, you could be lost. You lose the whole year.
Yes.
Okay? I get all that. But you're also teetering on 8-6. And now you're starting to get into that miss the playoffs realm, right? Okay. So to me, if he looks you in the eye and says, I can do this, I let him try. And if he tries, I'm going to give him a good shot of even outplaying Aaron Bleepin' Rodgers.
Well, you know what? Cleveland play the Raiders on Saturday. What if they lose?
Well, I think they will.
I mean, if they lose, I mean, now
Cincinnati is still sitting there.
Ain't worried about Cincinnati.
Okay.
I'm worried about Cleveland.
Are you really? That's the first time you've admitted that all year.
I'm saying I believe because what John Harbaugh said, hold on, Cincinnati got to go to Kansas City. I think Kansas City will take care of business because they're going to be in position to get the number 1 seed. So they want to hold on. They got Pittsburgh, they got Kansas City, and I think they go to the Broncos. So they got 2 home games, Kansas City does. So John Harbaugh's looking at Skip. I got to do the math too now. I got to hope, okay, Kansas City take care of that. Do this, divide the 1, carry the 2.
Okay, I got it. But maybe this becomes a karma game, as in the liar gets his.
Oh, man, ain't no karma. What got to go karma?
Yep.
He gonna get it. He gonna get about 3-4 touchdowns.
What goes around came right back around and bit him right in the butt. Or maybe bit him right on the little toe, right? It could be one of those games. I just got a feeling.
What about, do you want to talk about how good Aaron Rodgers is playing? Is he playing good right now?
No, he's been playing great. I give you that. And I got no use for him, but that's okay. And neither did you for a while.
Hey, what I think of him as a player and a person, that's entirely different. Yeah, we all know he's condescending. We all know he was deceitful. Okay, he lied. Yeah, he's narcissistic. Okay, we get all that. That's true. But he's not a great football player.
Then I had to put up with a whole nother week of him dropping hints about, I'm out of here. And there's the ESPN report, he's out of there. Stop it. He's going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere?
He is going to retire a Packer, but he wants to keep everybody under thumb. He wants the whole Packer nation to be on its knees saying, please don't leave, Aaron.
Excuse me, did you see him out there in practice? Had his arms folded like, I don't need to practice. Who needs practice?
So if he falls to maybe 1-5 in NFC Championship games this year, he's still got you. He's got you. You're his, but he owns you because he'll say,
there, right there. Look at this. Look at it. Y'all
ready? I got this. You want to talk about the all-time sympathetic figure?
No, ain't gonna be no sympathetic. No. He better not lose this game.
Yeah, please.
With all that smug. No. He better end up in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
With all that smugness and all that condescension that he's been giving people. Oh, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. No. Ooh, he better not. He better be at his all-time best come playoff time.
That's what Wink Martindale and Rob Ryan and John Harbaugh, they're all drilling that into those Ravens. What's left of the Ravens, you're going to take this kind of condescending smugness from this guy?
I can't believe you.
The immunized.
You're going to talk about karma's come back to bite him on the toe.
Karma is going to bite him on the toe this week. You watch. You heard it here first.
You just want that to happen because you want Tampa to get the number one seed.
Maybe.
No mercy. Well, guys, you can't avoid it. He's struggled since returning from his calf injury, and he's not shying away from the criticism. Yesterday, he told the media, quote, I do realize I'm not playing my best ball, haven't been playing it, have made some poor decisions. I wouldn't say it's slump material, but I'm definitely not up to my standards or expectations. And when you play at a high level, that's what you create. So I'm glad people have the same expectations for my game as I do for myself. So, Shannon, do you like the way he's handling his performances, his poor performances right now?
I didn't need Dak to interrupt my normally scheduled programming with breaking news. He's been stinking up the joint. Guess what? I got a TV.
He didn't say that.
Hey, we just give me. Oh, I've been playing bad. I've been watching television. I see you. You have been playing bad. What was he supposed to say? The thing that I like most about it, Skip, he didn't make excuses about injuries like somebody else I know. Shake and bake. I ain't calling the name, but you know the one that got the labrum, the shoulder, the hip, the groin, my back, my neck.
The guy you used to love.
No, Skip. What does used to have to do with right now? Dak did not make any excuses. Yes, I haven't played well. I know I haven't played well. I mean, I don't know what else he could have said because we can see, that you're not playing well. So for him to own up to it, says, I'm not playing well, he didn't really shift a whole lot of blame. Somebody, he did say, well, we all have to do better. Yeah, I get all that. But he can't hide from this performance, Skip. He cannot hide because we saw it. You saw it. You talked about Thanksgiving. You talked about in Kansas City. You talked about a few against the Broncos. So there's nothing he can hide behind because we've been able to see it in plain sight. We watched the games, and we haven't seen Dak play up to the level. But this is Dak's M.O. Skip, this is 6 years of this. 6 years.
It is.
At some point in time, it's a roller coaster. If it does this and does this, it's a roller coaster, not a merry-go-round.
That is true.
Okay, so there you have it.
So is it possible that number 4 is just a 4th-round pick? Like that's who he was and always will be? He's just a 4th-round pick.
Until he proves otherwise, Skip.
To my credit, I try to be an objective Cowboy fan. I've said many times over the last 6 weeks, $75 million man has been playing like he's worth 75 cents. Have I not said that again and again? And as much as I love Dak Prescott, I do not love the way he's publicly handling all this.
What you want him to do?
The first thing was, I wouldn't say it's slump material.
It ain't slump material.
It just is. I'm sorry.
But you'd have got on if he said, yeah, I'm in a slump. Dak, why would you say that? Why would you admit that you're in a slump? You was going to kill him either way.
No, this is lipstick on a pig. This is trying to delude yourself into believing, I don't want to use that word because that word's like...
I don't want to put that out in the universe.
No, it's going to come back and get me. Okay? I told you earlier in the show, the great ones just own it. But the great ones don't go 6 weeks where there's one outlier game.
Thank you.
Against Atlanta at home, where you have a QBR of 94, lead the week that week with a 94, and all the rest of them are just straight garbage. All of them. So you got 5 garbage and you got 1 outlier sensational. And he says it's not slump material. Yes, it is. So a great player, for the sake of the team, would just hit it head on, look it right in the eye, and say to the media, I have played poorly, and I own that. And I am going to fix that starting Sunday at the Giants.
Well, I hope so.
Okay, well, that's how you do it. That's how John Elway would have done it. That's how Troy would have done it. You just own it and face up to it and say, I got this, and I got you.
So you want to give the Giants bulletin board material. I've been playing bad, but I'm going to fix it this Sunday. So that's what you want him to do against a division rival. You want him to say that he gonna get better. He's going to get healthy against you.
I believe my team and my quarterback so much better than the Giants that you can say that and do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do think that.
So you just got you got little to no respect for the Giants right now. Is that what you're telling me?
We're 10.5-point favorites.
No, I want you to, hey, Giants, y'all hear that? Y'all heard what he said. Dak should say he's going to get healthy against you.
And Shannon Sharpe believes what will happen in this game.
Cowboys going to cover.
Cover, okay, so. Thank you.
But you, a Cowboy guy. You the one that believe in Dak. And so so basically he's telling you, Giants, he's telling you like, y'all terrible.
Well, you don't have to say, I guarantee we're going to beat the Giants. You just say, I'm going to fix this. Watch me fix this right now.
Well, why did you say, I'm going to fix this Sunday.
All right, Sunday. Okay, fine. Now we got the whole organization defending Dak in the same realm as it did before when Jerry said it's the receiver's fault. We got Stephen Jones yesterday on his radio show. They've all got radio shows saying sometimes it looks like a horrible throw, but maybe the receiver didn't run the right route, said Stephen. Okay.
So now you're going to drive the bus over the receivers?
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
What?
Blame everybody but the
exactly.
man, okay? And here's the quote that disturbed me the most. Dak Prescott said in his media session yesterday, to be blunt, he started the quote out with, to be blunt, communication has been the number one issue plaguing the offensive chemistry in games. So he's saying we're just not on the same page, which also indicates wrong routes, lack of rapport, whatever you want to read into it. Don't look at me, look at it.
Yeah, okay? You see? But that's your guy. Is that Brady asked? When has Tom Brady ever said anything about communication, anything about receivers? When have you ever heard anybody in any organization, when things aren't going well, they say, well, the reason why the receivers did this or the receivers done that. That's not team-like. Okay. That's not good organization.
Could we please, to remind me of just how bad it was, see Dak's 2 interceptions at Washington and tell me if you think they were on the wrong page.
Hey,
you think the receiver ran the wrong route on this one to CD? Is that the wrong route? That looked like
an overthrow.
I don't know.
That's what it looked like to me.
Run that you route 10 yards deeper? I don't know. There's the second one to Holcomb. I don't know.
I sure wish Schultz run a little harder to try to tackle it. You see Schultz jogging behind him?
Yeah, he was jogging. He was jogging. But did he jog through his route? Did he run the wrong route?
No, he ran an over route because he started on the left-hand side. He ran an over route because it was a play fake to that side. Dak boosted it and going to hit him on the over.
Okay, so Dak concludes that now we've addressed it as an offense. We've addressed it. We've held ourselves accountable for it. So we can move forward and peak at the right time heading into the playoffs. Well, it's all a bunch of we when it's me.
Right.
He.
So Skip, on the overtime, on that low throw to Noah Brown, run the wrong route? Because it looked like a bad throw. It looked like a poor throw to me.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like to my eyes.
It sure looked low and outside to me. I don't know. So, again, this goes week after week after week, and I keep looking at the numbers, and I say it started with Denver, where he came off the calf injury. Is he injured? Jerry Jones flat out told the media yesterday, no, he used 100% healthy.
Yes.
So to your point, maybe they're not making an excuse because there is no excuse.
Exactly.
Maybe they just believe he is truly 100% healthy.
But they are making excuses. They're blaming the receivers for Dak's play thus far. Instead of saying Dak saying I'm not. Well, he did say somewhat I'm playing well, but then to be blunt, it's communication. What is the communication? Skip. Everybody's been in this offense for at least 2 years. These aren't new guys. Dak isn't a new quarterback. So how do you not have you having communication issues this late in the season, the second year in an offense?
I don't know. I agree with that. So let's count the ways here against your Denver Broncos. I thought Dak played the worst game I have ever seen him play in 6 seasons. Really? Then he bounced back against Atlanta, the monkey butt powder game, right? And yet he turns right around against Kansas City, and they get the ball 12 times and pull off 3 field goals.
Right.
And he misses Gallup up the rail on the first throw of the game, and he misses CD, he underthrows CD in the end zone at the end of the half. Mm-hmm. And not only does CD, the ball gets intercepted, but he bangs his head on the turf, and he's gone for a game, or the game and a half. Okay, then we got Las Vegas at home. You can't lose to that team on Thanksgiving. That's, in the end, it's on the quarterback. The quarterback just has to say, no, I'm better than this. Mm-hmm. I take this game over. I'm sorry. And
what happens, Skip? What we've seen over the last couple of weeks is that the great teams, they go to overtime, they get the ball. Mahomes didn't give Justin Herbert a chance. You ain't getting this ball. Tom Brady, I don't know what y'all thinking y'all gonna get this ball. Y'all not finna get this ball. We finna walk this off.
Well, we gave it back to Derek Carr. And then I thought Micah had saved the day with the sack, and on the next play, Derek Carr throws it up for grabs, and
Derek Carr should have had an opportunity to save today.
Should not. Agreed.
I mean, you had the ball.
Then we go to New Orleans, and we survive, but Dak doesn't play very well.
He doesn't.
And the defense starts to take over. Then we go to Washington. Dak has a QBR of 10.
Yeah, he didn't play very
his lowest of his career.
And the defense bailed him out again.
And the defense has taken over the team. Yeah. And what did I tell you last Monday? Dak's team, the Dak attack, has now become Micah's team and Micah's Marauders on defense. Yeah. That's who we are now. We are a defensive-based football team. We're going to go as this defense takes us.
How you a defensive-based football team? You got a $40 million quarterback, a $15 million running back, a $20 million receiver, and a $14 million left tackle, a $14 million right guard, and a $10 million right tackle. Mm-hmm. How you a defensive-based team and you got all the money on your side?
All the money. Mike is going to make a couple of dollars.
He's going to make a lot. He's going to make Michael Parsons might get 150. He might get $200 million by the time he's available.
He just might.
With the cap going up to $208 million, he got another 3 years. Yeah, Michael Parsons might be the first $30 million DB, a defensive player.
I am now fascinated to see, with 4 games left, what my quarterback does, because he's capable. So it's time. He has been called out. He's on the hottest of hot seats. You have to play up to $75 million.
You heard what you said? He's capable. Mm-hmm. He's capable of what? We see the 10. You saw the 94, but we also saw the 10. We saw the 11. So he's capable of both.
He's not going to get away with anything, Shannon. Not anything.
No mercy.
Zion Williamson has yet to play this season, and now he's expected to miss even more time. Zion received an injection for his foot injury, and he'll be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks at this point. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how much faith do you have in Zion being healthy enough to have a Hall of Fame career?
A 1.
Really, a 1?
A 1. Skip, his body's breaking down. I don't know how you play basketball on bum knees, bum ankles, or bum feet. We've seen guys, Greg Oden, Sam Bowie, Brandon Roy, guys that had Brandon Roy was going to be the big thing, rookie of the year, and his knees failed him.
You might throw in Bill Walton.
Bill Walton only really played like 150 games at his apex. Yep. And then after that, his feet, he was never the same.
And all he did was win MVP and Finals MVP.
He won MVP and Finals MVP in a 2-year span. Mm-hmm. But he's played like 10 years in the league, Skip. But after that, he went to the Celtics and was a great role player, won 6th Man of the Year there, Skip. But Skip, he's 21. He can't, Skip.
Think about that. He's 21.
He's 21.
Yeah.
Skip, he's 21. He can't stay healthy to keep his weight down. So if you can't exercise, if I can't ride a bike, Skip, I can't jog, I don't have the discipline right yet because I'm 21 to eat in moderation or eat what I'm supposed to. So how do I keep my weight down? I will not be, Skip, I believe there's a 90% chance at the end of this 4 to 6 week, guess what the Pelicans going to say? We're shutting Zion down for the remainder of the season. Mm-hmm. Skip, he's played 85 of a possible 174 games. He's missed half the games he could have potentially played. So I don't know. And to reach his full potential, what must he be? Explosive. How are you explosive on bum knees, bum feet, and bum ankles, Skip? How? I just don't see it. I feel bad for him. That was my concern when you and I, we discussed this a lot. I say, Skip, I just don't, he's a ginormous athletic man. But for his size, it just doesn't make sense. That's an 18-wheeler going 150 trying to stop at a stop sign, at a four-way crossing. It's just not going to work, Skip. Eventually, something bad is going to happen. And in his first 3 years, something bad has happened.
Yep. So I believed in this kid at Duke, and I still believe in him in pro basketball. But on scale of 1 to 10, what is my faith in him being a Hall of Famer? I'll have to drop it to a 4. You're at a 1. I'm at a 4. I'm still trying to hang in there. I'm just going to remind you, I have seen it in action.
Yes.
He actually played 61 of 72 games last year, and he averaged 27, 7, and 4. And he led the NBA making 61% of his shots, and it wasn't even close because that's what he does.
Right.
He is an unstoppable force at the rim. And I also was pleasantly surprised. He increased his free throw shooting to 70% last year, which is doable.
It's fine. Yeah.
And yet, talked to a source yesterday close to the situation, and the biggest concern about Zion, according to him, was, does he really want this? Because in the end, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Do you really want this? Do you want it the way Jordan did and Kobe did and Dwayne Wade did and the greats? Do you really want it the way LeBron has always wanted it, where you're willing to all but die for this cause? Are you really in? Because if you are, then you start to try to figure it out.
You get your weight under control.
That's number one. Do you have issues? Do you have underlying issues? Because usually fat people have issues, and he's become what you would call a fat person. If, in fact, the reports are true, he's ballooning up
310,
towards
320.
330, some people have said. And now we're looking at 6 more weeks. He got, I'm assuming it was like a PRP shot to try to speed the healing.
Right.
They said he's in a walking boot today.
So what's he going to do? So what cardio can you do in a walking boot, Skip?
Okay. Well, you can get on an exercise bike, and I don't think it'll threaten the healing of your foot. You can go in the swimming pool, but I'm going to dare say that he won't go in the swimming pool because it's not fun. No, you got to really want it in the swimming pool.
Yeah, because it's so boring and monotonous.
It is terribly boring. but if you're going to do any kind of cardio, you're going to have to figure something out here, because I'm told that he's still prone to eat a full pizza and drink a full liter of sugar Coke.
Well, Skip, I don't know. When I had ankle injuries or knee injuries or something like that, you remember this thing called a UB, where you pedal it like this here? Man, they make us get on that.
You're doing it with the upper body.
Right. Yeah. But you get cardio.
You want to talk about boring? It's all time.
But
boring.
Skip, I wasn't going to just sit there and do nothing. I am eating. So, I mean, if you eating and not burning any calories, guess what? The weight's going to go up. I don't care if you just eating in moderation. You've got to burn more calories than you're ingesting.
Yep. He did just hire the new trainer, that Jasper Bibbs, who's at LSU briefly. He'd been with the Utah Jazz, and I've heard good things about him. So maybe he'll help turn him around. But
I got to get you. I got to get you in the thing first, Skip. How can you in a walking boot? What are we going to try? What are we going to do?
I don't know. He's 21 years of age.
Yes.
Okay, at some point, this kid, it can't come from his stepfather or his mother. He's got to sit down and say, do I want to do this or not?
Yes.
And at some point, you have to decide, it's on me.
Yes.
I'm going to do this or I'm not. And if you don't want it, then God bless you.
But I told you from the jump, he wasn't happy about going to New Orleans.
No.
Watch. It's going to be very interesting. Does he sign? He might be the first to turn down that max rookie extension.
Yep.
He wants to be in New York.
You well could be
He
right.
He want to be in New York, Skip.
But I'm just be a happier camper then.
I just want him to be healthy and want to see him in action.
Etouffee, jambalaya, all them beignets.
It's just
You can't be down there. Would there be
hate for him to be dealing with it at such a young age.
No mercy.
The Patriots are riding their 7-game winning streak and with eyes on clinching a playoff berth this weekend. Mac Jones hopes to continue his run toward Offensive Rookie of the Year, but Indy has said they'll still try to put the game in his hands to neutralize New England's run game. So, Shannon, who wins? Who you got, Patriots or Colts?
I'm going to take the Patriots, Skip. I love how the Patriots are playing right now, Skip. They're running the football, but Mac Jones is making throws, timely throws, when he needs to make them.
Really? He made 2 the other night.
That's all he needed to make. Well, make him make more. And let's see if you can do that, Patriots. Let's see if you can do that, Colts. I got the Patriots in a very close ball game.
I thought you were walking to him all day and all night.
What you think?
Huh?
Like they said, they want to put the ball in Mac Jones' hands. What you think Bill Belichick want to do?
Okay. Well, right now, as many problems as I have with Carson Wentz, I'll take him over Mac Jones.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes,
you
I
just
would.
said that.
I will. I'll take him right now.
I've come to the conclusion. You don't want Coach Belichick to win because if Coach Belichick win, it will blow up your theory that Tom Brady is most responsible for the success.
Well, Kansas City's the best team in the AFC.
Oh, no,
you saw it last night. Well, you picked him to win the Super Bowl, right?
I did.
Okay.
But I still believe the Patriots are the best right now.
Guess what? The Indy defense leads the NFL in takeaways with 29. I think they'll take it away a couple of more times.
And Mac with the MJ10 don't turn it over.
MJ10, yeah. The new Michael Jordan.
There you go, Skip. Stop hating on the man. Let the man have a little moniker. You want TB12 to monopolize everything.
The streak ends here.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Want a case on it?
I got walk it to him. No, I don't. Because I don't bet on walk it to him.
Why not? But you trust him over
call
MJ10.
him Carson
I just
Wentz.
like it when you guys bet on me.
No way.
I like it.
Not today. We're out of time.
He's scared, Jenny. He's scared.
Shannon. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. Can't wait for Monday. The herd is on now.
Appreciate it, nephew.
Stop it, Shannon. We're done.